More Heart Than Talent Radio.
Good afternoon, everyone. Jeffery Combs, president and founder of Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. Tuesday, More Heart Than Talent podcast. We are going to officially change the name to the GMS podcast. For years, this has been the More Heart Than Talent mindset call, then podcast, and in the very near present, it will be converted to the GMS podcast, meaning Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated, which has been the name of my corporation since 1998. So to be in complete alignment, I am rebranding this call, the GMS, Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. The term Golden Mastermind is in homage to the great Napoleon Hill. I was a very big Napoleon Hill fan early in my career. I read all of his content back in the late 80s and 90s, Think and Grow Rich with Peace of Mind, The Laws of Success. And Napoleon Hill owned a company called Golden Rule Industries of America. And I took the golden, so the golden rule, and this was my golden ruler. So the Golden Rule Industries of America became Golden. Mastermind is in homage to Alliance, Mastermind Alliance, Golden Mastermind. And it was originally called Golden Mastermind Group. That was my network marketing team, the Golden Mastermind Group. Colors were originally purple and gold yellow. And so when I started my seminar company in 1998, it became Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated, a California corporation. So here we are, 22 plus years later, on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon, mid-July. Welcome to the Facebook Live today. And the topic for today's live is being creative and innovative. Creativity and innovation means adapt and adjust. Now, a word that you're hearing a lot since the pandemic has happened is called pivot. Pivot is also a sports term. Pivot on your heel, pivot on your foot. He pivoted, pivot your shot. Pivot, what it means to us is being able to adapt and adjust. If you live in California, we are completely shut down. So that means we definitely are pivoting. For instance, my wife yesterday went to Orange Theory and hot yoga. Today, no Orange Theory, no hot yoga. It means that she was adapting and adjusting. Now, she wasn't certain if all businesses were shut down, all gyms, but she found out this morning, so she adapted and adjusted. And I had a conversation with her about that. I said, let's do our best not to feel like we're under such a tight watch, vigil, whatever you want to call it, as we lose more and more civil liberties, more and more freedoms due to the situation at hand. It's imperative and important that you and I, are able to adapt and adjust while doing our best to be our best, whatever circumstances are happening. Now, creativity and innovation are a major component of being an entrepreneur. So your ability to create on command, your ability to write content, your ability to come up with a logo for your business. So this logo right here is a lion, and it's gold and silver, and I had that personally designed. And GMS, Golden Mastermind Seminars, Inc. So I hooked the letters together. I used the crown from the Ritz-Carlton brand. It's similar. And so that's creativity. That's my favorite hotel chain, one of my favorite hotel chains. So creativity and being innovative at the same time. So there are times in your entrepreneurial career, your life, your business, that it requires you to reinvent yourself. You lose a job, you change a career, you change a business, you go through a relationship change, any multitude of situations. Era's end, it can be the death of the ego, the end of the era. But if you are enlightened, if you're in flow, if you're in consciousness, awareness, understanding, you'll be able to adapt and adjust. So adapting and adjusting is also in concordance with being creative and innovative. Now, many people talk themselves out of creativity and innovation by using a language, self-limiting language that goes, I'm not good at, I'm not sure if I can, I'm not able to, I'm not sure if I can put myself out there, I'm not good at selling, I'm not good at sales. I mean, this is the way many people communicate, and I'm not sure if I can talk to. I mean, so when you're not sure, what you're doing is you're edifying the very situation that you require improving. Now, I myself have done the same situation. Being an alcoholic and an addict throughout from 18 to 31, I could not see myself not drinking. So Henry said, I suck at. So that's very good, Henry. Many people say, I suck at sales. If you've ever seen the movie Tommy Boy, the late Chris Farley says this, what's your name? Helen. You look like a Helen. Helen, let me tell you why I suck at sales. I get a pretty little pet. I love it. I stroke it. And then he does this with a biscuit, and then he destroys it. And then he goes, and then I blow it. So if you ever get to see that clip, you can Google it. Tommy Boy, I suck at sales. That's really a very, very metaphoric situation. Also, if you've ever seen the sales presentation of Tommy Boy with David Slade, it's priceless, where they're doing a presentation in front of the tire store owner on the brake pads. Here's what happens when you're driving along with the other guy's brake pads. I mean, you're driving along. So that's how many people do that. They edify the very situation they seek to avoid, not even understanding that is what they're doing. That means in an unconscious situation, they are de-edifying themselves without even knowing it. I'm not good at. One of those common statements I encounter is, put myself out there. I did a Facebook Live on this last night. I mentioned it. And Sandy Girl Clark put in parentheses, out there. I mean, where is out there? Out there is in the ether. Is it in the stratosphere? Is it in the ozone? Is it in the forbidden zone? Where is out there? Out there is a mythical, non-magical place that means you have anxiety about being judged. So this becomes a reason not to be able to write content, share pictures, share lifestyle, or brand yourself because you're not sure if you can put yourself out there. I'm not good at writing. And this is how many people communicate. So how do I let go? Well, you let go by, first of all, accepting that you have self-limiting beliefs, accepting that you get overwhelmed, accepting that you're in a state of recovery, accepting that you're in a state of change. You accept it. You accept where you are instead of saying, shouldn't be here. I can't believe I'm this far behind. I'm behind the 8 ball. I'm 60 years old and I don't have any assets. Well, you want to stop edifying the very situation you seek to avoid. That is disempowering language. Empowering language does not mean that you're making up lies. Empowering language means you start to use words in your sentence structure that's in accordance with the clearly defined goals that you're creating short term. Now, there's no such thing as faking it till you make it. It is an overused term. When you're faking it while you're making it, you're fake. So there's nothing, you don't want to be fake. Your objective is to be real. And so when you live in this fake it till you make it, and you keep dragging around the 50 pounds of weight that you're carrying on your body, or the 50 pounds of emotional weight you're carrying around your life, now you're in a mixed message. This hinders your ability to be creative and innovative. Now, remember when you were a child and you had the coloring box, the 64 crayons, and the sharpener on the side? I had colored pencils, multiple colored pencil sets. I had crayons. I had watercolor paints. I had oil paints. And then some of you had chalk that you painted on walls and you drew on sidewalks. Okay, that was our creativity. Somewhere along the line, a lot of our creativity gets taken away from us. The life gets sucked out of us. We are told that we're not good enough. We get traumatized, violated, sexually abused, all the situations that happen to children that have dreams that have them stolen by adults who are perpetrators, violators, whatever. And you see what's going on in today's world with child trafficking and all these other situations that is shocking to much of the world. And it's no wonder that so many of us wake up in our 20s and 30s and we have no identity, no self-esteem, no sense of feeling. Our whole life is shut down because of everything we went through, and we still have a little view of a dream. We have just a little view left over, just enough to stay in it, and then we wonder why we don't break through. Well, there's a process to it, and that process is called recovery, sobriety, emotional recovery, emotional sobriety. It means you start to separate your feelings from the events that shaped them. Your creativity is your ability to have a vision. That's where it begins. Just a simple vision. Creativity can be as simple as laying down on a carpet, sitting in a chair, taking a long, deep abdominal breath, letting go of the feelings you hold on to, letting go of being overwhelmed, changing words in a sentence structure. These are all very simple disciplines that you can master one day at a time that creates a new emotional discipline. The new emotional discipline that you create will be the process of separating feelings from events. As you begin to no longer be the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings, you're moving into consciousness, which gives you the opportunity to know. When you know, you're a lot more creative. When you know, you're able to access your right brain, your limbic brain. When you're overwhelmed and traumatized, you're living in the analytical egoic mind, and you're also living in the reptilian brain, the brain that sees lions and tigers, the brain that sees situations that are scary and you're fearful, the brain that sees a situation that you're overwhelmed, you're not sure if I can, how am I ever going to get out of? How am I ever going to get out of debt? How am I ever going to get rid of this weight? How am I? How am I? How do I, how am I? How do I, how am I? This is what exhausts people. What is not exhausting is letting go. Letting go actually liberates you. How do I let go? Well, it's not a how do I, it's a skill process where you learn a longer breath cycle, you change the words and sentence structure, you become more aware, you hear what people mean. You should join my company. Well, if you are conscious, you know that that person's using force and you as their counterforce. Now, instead of, that's not clear communication skill, that's not good communication skill. And when someone's doing this to you, you will start to understand that that's the energy that your body used to go into fight or flight. That's violator energy, perpetrator energy, anger energy. That's rejection energy, abandonment energy, and your body will go into fight or flight. As you begin to let go and separate feelings and start to be more creative and innovative, start to have a better understanding of cause and effect and why you do what you do, then you won't personalize that. That's not personal. You'll be able to let go of that situation, and that's not rejection. And when someone doesn't show up for an appointment, they didn't ghost you, they didn't show up. And as you become more creative and more innovative and create better ways to brand yourself, to create colors that match your emotions, purples, blues. I personally like cobalt blue. I like gold. I like yellow. I like to mix colors to create a brand. I like to create backgrounds with words on them, with colors that appeal to people's eyes. And there are certain colors that people feel like red's a power color, navy's a power color, black's a power color. There's other softer colors that are more appealing, violet, yellow, turquoise. I mean, these are some of the colors. Just like the color of turquoise water in the Caribbean or Lake Tahoe. It's like your body goes, ah. It secretes a neurochemical called dopamine. It's a feel-good feeling. It's just like, ah. And so it just so happens a few of my cars are red. People go, is red your favorite color? It's not. It just so happens that several of my cars are red. However, my favorite color is blue, a softer color of blue than navy, but also a dark blue. I also like cobalt. Cobalt is an Art Deco color that comes from the era of 1910 through about 1940. And it is a lighter blue. It's not completely light, but it's a little darker. It's a very unique, and a lot of mirrors were made. They're called cobalt mirrors, a very unique color. So you will have your own favorite colors, your own favorite brands. And so you want to look at other people's brands and start to create ideas for your brand. You want to start to incorporate art into your life, like artwork. And so if you can take art classes, and there's artists that you can actually go to their classes. You can go to they used to be able to go to those restaurants where you could take those classes and drink wine and learn how to paint. And these are the situations that you want to start to access. Just simple drawing. Draw a logo. Put together 3 letters for the name of your corporation. Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated. More heart than talent. Breakthroughs to success. Those are 3 brands that I built: sobriety consciousness, recovery consciousness. Then if you incorporate them, then you can start to put the logos together. You can hang them together. You can hang them this way, sideways. I've created letter jackets, like real letter jackets, high school letter jackets with leather sleeves, a blue body, my name here, my logo here, my logo on the back. I've worn them before on planes, in events, etc. That's branding yourself. I created hats for my businesses before with a red rim, cobalt top, and then the logo on it. I mean, this is how you start to brand yourself. This is how you start to bring your message to free enterprise. If you ever bought any of my books, all my books are the exact same size, with the exception of Procrastination Cure. I sold that book, so it's a little different. But the 5 books that I've written are all the exact same size. The brand is very similar in all the books, although distinctly different because of the title. I use the term factor for a series of book anger factor, breakthrough factor, success factor, wealth factor, and esteem factor. Those are the 3 titles of the next books I will write sometime before I retire. So that's an idea I've had for years. The wealth factor, the breakthrough factor, the esteem factor. One of my first companies was called Golden Wave Enterprises. Enterprise was a word I used a lot in my early career. My enterprise. I used to teach my team to say this, not in my enterprise. My enterprise. So there becomes an ownership in enterprise. Enterprise also requires inflection to be able to say the word. My enterprise. Now, if you have more than one businesses, my enterprises. And so the inflection also creates a sound, and there's a feeling to it. In your creativity and your innovation, you want to be able to see the outcome before it happens. I like to restore cars and boats and houses and real estate and yards and landscape and situations like that. I'm very creative and very innovative, and I can see the outcome before it happens. I have a 1949 Coke machine that I had restored. Now I didn't restore it back to original because it would lose the value, and it is right now for sale on eBay. So it's the old pewter handle. It goes like this, drops a dime into it. You have a key on the side. You open the door. You pull the door open, and the Coke machine, the Coke bottles are in a round circle, and you load them like this. And then it has a handle like this. Very innovative the way that was done. So I love to landscape my properties. I like walls. I like brick walls. I like concrete walls. I like spikes on them. I mean, I designed all of them. See, that's being creative and innovative. It's design. It's being able to design your life, design your home, design your outcome, design your future. So this is why dreaming and then action, when they come together, that's what creates a compounded effect. Now, that if you can let go of anxiety, is what creates the romance. The romance is the That's the dopamine release that your body receives by being in the present, in the here, in the now, and by letting go. When you're no longer the mind-body connection to the events that shape the feelings, now you're here and you're present. When you're present, your creativity is now right here with you. But when you're overwhelmed, there is no creativity. When you're in a very low vibration, low energy, not here and not now, you have no creativity and innovation because it's stifled and stuffed. When you lived in stifled, stuffed feelings, you're overwhelmed and overweight, and you focus on that. I'm so overweight. I'm so overwhelmed. When you talk like this, then you live in guilt and shame by chronically relapsing. You have no creativity and innovation. You'll spend most of your time controlling your addiction, meaning that you'll spend most of your time in your head, going over and over the situation. And it takes creativity. I mean, I've created sales out of nothing. I've invented marketing techniques and campaigns and released products and services and wrote the content for it and then sent it out and watched the money come in through creativity and innovation. I've also had many campaigns that created nothing. I've written hundreds of newspaper ads. The best newspaper ad I ever wrote that attracted great people, and you can use this ad for anything. I've never actually copyrighted it, so it is my content, but my caption said sports-minded. That was a caption. It was a bold-type caption, and it said, successful entrepreneur seeks self-starter, must be, and I use dollar signs, money-motivated, team player, ready to produce results now. And then I had a voicemail that went with it that I wrote specifically for that ad, and it went, hello, my name is Jeffery Combs. I'm inspired for you. This call could change your life. If you're like me and wondered if there was a legitimate home-based business that could change your life, your present, and your future, then listen to what I have to say. Many of our associates are creating results from the comfort of their home in a relatively short period of time for those who are committed. If you're serious about changing the quality of your life and you'd like a one-on-one interview with me, leave your name and number twice, and I will personally return your call. Thank you for calling, and you have a great day. Now, I adapted and adjusted that a little on the fly there. I wrote it more specifically for the era of time in the 1990s when I used that. I successfully used that ad to attract a young man who went on to eventually become a millionaire early in my career. By attracting him, he changed my whole career. That was in 1991. He answered a newspaper ad out of Oakland, California. I had another man from Greenwood, Mississippi answer that ad in 1997. I ran that in newspapers for about 7 years. That's that specific ad. I wrote that. I invented that myself. I used to go to the USA Today in the late early 90s, and I would look in the section for opportunities on Fridays, and I would look how other people were writing ads. I would circle them, I would study them, then I would write copy of my own and experiment with them with those that would create a result. Now, in that era of time, I would create 100 leads a week calling me. I've always been a lead magnet. I'm very skilled at creating leads. No one taught me. I learned myself. I do have an advantage I will share with you. I did go to college and I did receive a degree in radio and television. I also took extra credit hours in black and white photography. I took extra credit hours in graphic layout design, and I took extra credit hours in the journalism department at my college. So I graduated with, I think, 133 hours, something like that. And I took extra classes so I could hone my skills. And so those skills, photography was really good for me. I took black and white photography in the journalism department, but I was really much more artistic. But I learned like how in the old school viewfinder was how to create the composition. And I learned black and white photography. I was in the dark room and I learned a lot of dark room techniques. It was one of those situations that I've been one of those hundreds of things I could have been really good at, but I was so overwhelmed with all the brilliance I had, and then being a drug addict and an alcoholic at the same time, it was one of those hundreds of things I could have, should have, didn't. However, I did travel with my Olympus OM1 camera around the world. I took that camera to Brazil, the south of France, Italy, England, many countries, almost all the states, all the United States. And I took pictures for about 13 years with my Olympus OM1. I also had a tripod where I could set it there, and old school, had a winder on it. This is long before the cameras we have today. And once again, this was creativity and innovation. It was a lot more difficult because you had to be able to imagine the picture in the viewfinder, looking at it here and then being over there. So this is creativity and innovation. As you become skilled at this situation, then you will be no longer the mind-body connection to the little voice that says, I'm not good enough. I'm not sure if I can. I don't know if I can put myself out there. And these other situations that you perpetuate to create the same set of feelings over and over. I want to thank you for being on today's call. My name is Jeffery Combs. I am the president and founder of Golden Mastermind Seminars Incorporated, and I'm officially in innovation and creativity rebranding this Facebook Live. It will very soon be called the GMS Podcast. I have a new employee who's exceptional, Dylan Albertson. It's the end of an era, and he and I are creating a whole new level of synergy. Thank you very much. You have a great afternoon. Jeffery Combs. If you haven't received a free 20-minute coaching session, feel free to reach out and request. Have a great day.
More Heart Than Talent Radio.